5 days eating what I catch off this group of islands. I'll be diving and spearfishing to catch my fish, pushing myself to the limits. I'll be cooking what I catch, preparing different meals, living off my small boat. I'll also be going ashore on the islands to see what hidden treasures there are and discovering what has been left to time. This is part of my quest to explore all the islands on the Great Barrier Reef, all the way up and down the east coast of Australia. All right, let's get these videos started. First thing we're gonna do is put a line in the water and see if we can catch a fish by rod. We're on a reef here, it looks pretty good, and the sounder says we have some fish underneath, so it shouldn't be too hard at all. If I don't get any fish by fishing rod, I'm gonna put on my suit and jump in the water. Let's see how we go. This is a jig that one of my friends made. It's mainly used for snapper, but I reckon a lot of other fish will take that. So let's drop that in and see what we get. All right, that didn't work, so let's try this ice cream lollipop. I've never used this. Let's give it a crack. All right, that didn't work either. So I'm gonna try and cast a popper and see if our luck changes. All right, that was strike 3, so I guess that's time for me to jump in the water. The water is murky. I don't like the water being murky. You never know what's looking at you, but that's probably gonna be the only way I'm gonna catch a fish right now. All right, let's jump in the water. I saw this cave from the water here. Thought I'd come and check it out. Let's have a look. Oh, there's a big rock hanging up here. Oh, it actually goes for a fair bit inside there. Let's see how far it goes inside. This is the end of the cave right here, but that's a good 20 meters. Wow, check it out. Yeah, well, that was definitely worth a look. Love exploring little nooks and crannies like this. All right, let's get back in the water and try to get one fish, at least one fish, even if it's a small fish. Otherwise, we're gonna go hungry tonight and we can't have that. I'm not gonna die, but I would rather feed tonight rather than go to bed hungry. Let's see what we can do about that. All right, guys, day one and no fishies. So We're gonna go hungry tonight. Not that there was not any fish, there was some fish, and there were just a lot of missed opportunities. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you catch lots of fish, and sometimes you don't catch any fish at all. And so yeah, unfortunately tonight I'm gonna go hungry. Definitely have to catch a fish tomorrow, otherwise 2 days with no fish, we can't have that. So yeah, let's make it fishy day tomorrow. Right guys, going to be an early night for me. Still very hungry, but not much I can do about it now. So just going to have to go to sleep and sort it out tomorrow morning. All right. Sleeping out at sea has its advantages, I can tell you that. One thing that I love is looking back at land during a sunset. Absolutely beautiful, guys. Check it out. Just drove around the corner to get out of the wind. A lot more comfortable here, that's for sure. Here's to drinking coffee straight out of the pot because I didn't bring a cup. Oh, tastes even better. Straight out of the pot. This is day 2. And it was a very dismal result in day 1, so we ended up with no fish whatsoever, and I am extremely hungry. So I'm going to jump in here and see if I can find a fish. It is very windy, but this little cove is protected. Hopefully I can find a fish here and we can get something to eat. All right, let's jump in. Right, ended up getting this small little tusk fish at the cost of losing my knife. I've got to go back in there and find my knife because the shark came in and I was fumbling around with my knife trying to secure the fish and secure my knife, but I ended up dropping the knife. So I'm going to drive up there and see if I can find it because that's the only diving knife I have. But that's a good little tusk fish and that's going to be breakfast or lunch today. But yeah, really happy with that. Now we can eat. Oh well, I didn't find the knife and I was probably kidding myself. It was probably like finding a needle in a haystack. That knife is gone. Oh, that's the second one I've lost. These things are about $100 each. And yeah, a little disappointed I lost it, but what do you do? I'm going to use this knife here. That's my boning knife for the fish. It does fit on the belt really nicely and it clips in, so that's going to be my dive knife now. Yeah, the water started to become a little cloudy, but this reef here is so healthy. There's so much coral, so much fish around, but not a great deal of eating fish. Only saw a few, but yeah, really healthy reef system here. One of the best I've seen actually. which is really surprising. It's very close to the mainland, but I think because of the way that it's situated on the northern side, it actually gets protected from all the southeasterly winds and all the chaos. But yeah, this is a very nice reef. Definitely going to come back. All right, now I'm going to get this wetsuit off because I'm a little bit cold, warm up, and then make something to eat. That little tusky is going to make a great breakfast, brunch, and I've got a couple different ways I'm going to prepare it. But yeah, let's get out of this suit and get on to brunch. All right, my apologies for the wind. I tried the best to get out of the wind, but we couldn't get it. So this is the black spot tusk fish, and they call it a black spot because it has a black spot just there. That's a good size fish. All right, let's start filleting it. And I use 2 knives. I use a boning knife first, and then I'll use the filleting knife, and that's a little bit longer. As you can see, the filleting knife is a lot longer. I've already gutted it. See, it's already been gutted. There's no need to take the scales off because I'm going to take the skin off later. So the first cut I make is generally down here, and it's the same for all fish. And then make an incision going this way. And all we're doing is going to run the knife along this edge here just to make the first cut. This knife isn't really sharp, it's a bit blunt, but it's had its fair share of cutting fish. So once we've made that cut, take it all the way to the tail. The next we want to just open the skin up like this, run the knife down the spine there, staying as close to the spine as you can. And that way you can make sure you get as much meat as possible. Now when you get to the center of the spine, you kind of just want to lift it and then turn the knife a little bit to get on the other side of the spine. So just do that here, and then you can continue to run the knife down that spine. What I do then is just cut the end off the tail like that, and then try and find the knife in there like this. Keep running down that spine until you get to the outer side of the skin. And once you've done that, you just cut through like that, and then lift it up, and then keep running the knife down like that. When you get to the rib bones, you can either cut through them if it's a bigger fish, and then you can cook those ribs up. This fish is only quite small, so I'm just going to run the knife along those rib bones. And when I'm satisfied that I've gone and collected enough meat, then I'm just going to cut through. There it is, that's one side. And now I'll get the fillet knife out and we'll fillet it. And to fillet it, it's really quite easy. All you got to do is just make a start on the end, holding the skin down with your fingernails if you can. If it gets too slimy, you can cut a hole in the back here and put your thumb there, but I think I've got hold of this one. Let's have a look. Oh no, I've got to cut a hole in it. So just pull the skin back, pierce through. Oops, cut way too much there. Maybe they give us enough grip. Yeah, just work the knife down the skin on a 45-degree angle. And then the meat will come away from the skin. And there it is. No waste. Skin is off with the scales. We don't need that. So, in the drink. So there we go. That's a nice bit of meat there. All right, I'll bag this up, do the other side, and then we'll get started on some lunch. There it is, a couple of really good sized fillets. I avoid wetting the flesh either with fresh water or salt water. Keep them dry. They're going to taste a lot better that way. But yeah, all right, let's get started on lunch. As you can see, I've converted this space here into a table and I've screwed down a hot plate on it. And then I've got the gas bottle underneath there. And that just makes things a lot easier for me. Yeah, this is a really good solution. So we'll just wait for this rice to boil, fry the fish up, have the fish with the rice and a bit of salad. Wow, that's boiling already. So let's hope I can turn that down. So I'll just wait for the rice to finish, then I'll start frying some fish and then make a salad, and that will be lunch. Fresh from the reef here. Doesn't get much better than that, honestly. Here is the fish all cut up, and what I've done is just put it in some panko with some extra spices that I made. I find that they kind of need a little bit more spice compared to what panko you buy in the shops. So yeah, a little bit more spices, but yeah, just mix it around like that. Coat all the fish, a little bit of coconut oil. We're going to fit in there. Make it fit. All I do is let them brown on one side and then I'll split them once. And that will be it. They'll be ready. Fresh black spot tusky right here off the reef. Man. Oh. This is so good. Really good. Oh. Oh. Mmm. This is the first bit of food in 2 days. So, yeah, really looking forward to chowing this down. I don't know if I'll finish it. I'm gonna do my best to try. But with food that tastes this good, how could I go wrong? Oh, mmm. Oh, what a meal. I'm so full and I did eat it all. Feeling a little bit tired, but I'm not gonna go to sleep. So what I'm gonna do is go onto this island and check it out. But I can't take this camera, I've got to take the GoPro, because I don't have a dry bag. But yeah, we'll get on this island and take a look and see what's on there. Would have normally brought the boat up here, but it's mostly rocks and the tide didn't come all the way up on this tide. Check this out. There's a bed. Oh, I also brought some shoes because I don't want to get my feet hurt. But look at this. This is a bed. Like an old bed. Really old style bed. What is going on? Bizarre. Check this out. This is a tree with some orange flowers. Is this hibiscus? Is this a coastal hibiscus? Does anybody know? Coconuts. Sprouted coconut. More sprouted coconuts. And there's a coconut tree, but it's dropped all its coconuts. No coconuts on there. They're all down here. Lots and lots of sprouted coconuts. You can go there, and you can go there. Grow. There's another coconut tree here. Again, no coconuts. It's dropped all its coconuts. Must have been really hot. That's when they dropped them. Oh, water. Whoa, look at that, guys. There's water in there. See? You find bottles of water on the beach. No one believes me, but here we go. Bottles of water. All right, check this out. Some kind of plum. What is that? I've never seen that before. Lots of, looks like an apple. Really hard. I don't know what that is. Anyone know what that is? Another bed frame with wheels. Old style bed frame. What does that mean? And looks like there's a flagpole over here. Lots of clamshells. And what's up here? Looks like some concrete. Don't know the history of this place. Kind of just come across it by accident. What is that? Look at this. What is that?
The moving pointer on the map draws your attention to Phantom Island, about 40 miles north of Townsville in Queensland. Here a leprosarium for Aborigines is conducted by the Franciscan Missionaries of Mary. Over the quiet waters, the turtle boat approaches the island. The mission area in view comprises the Sisters Convent, the Mission Church and Presbytery, and the hospital on the extreme right.
In memory of the patient sisters of Our Lady of Christians Franciscan, missionaries of Mary and St. Alf, who lived and worked on Phantom Island, and those who died here from 1939 to 1973, erected on the original site of the Mary Immaculate Church on Monday 31st 2010. Couple of bathtubs. Wow, this is really interesting, guys. This is a frangipani that must have been planted here at some point. What do you reckon this is, guys? It's not a toilet. Could be maybe some storage for something. Looks like this is irrigation. Another bathtub. Lots of fibro cement sheeting. Anything this old would have to be asbestos for sure. And it's all over the place here. Look at this. This looks like an old stove. Wow, that is really old, guys. So old. You could probably restore it. Old wash basin. Made of metal. They don't make them like that anymore. Let's follow this path up and see where it goes. Looks like a whole settlement on this island. This might be the island that they sent all the people that had leprosy to. If it was a hospital, island, middle of nowhere, this is where they sent all the lepers back in the old times. Really tall grass. Whole bunch of cactus there, look at this. Lots of corrugated iron everywhere. These are goats' droppings. This is the other side of the island, all rocky. There is a space there, I could probably bring my boat in there. Some mangroves over there. Maybe some crabs there. Look at this, this is the old power generator. There's a dynamo there. Here's the engine. Wow. Had their own power station. This would have been a fridge or a boiler of some sort, I think. Not sure exactly. Yeah, but I'm seeing a lot of infrastructure foundations here. And this place would have been very, very substantial. All right, let's get back to the boat. I've said enough. Kind of has this eerie feeling about it. I wonder if there's a cemetery here. Would have to be. What I'm walking on is definitely a goat track, single file, going this way. Seen evidence of goats. I might put the drone up when I get back and take a look and see if there's any goats on here. Look at that. Look how far the coral's been pushed up. That's about 3 meters high. And it looks like the wind's changed, coming from the east now, or northeast, which means that this is no longer good anchorage. We've got to get out of here and go on the other side of the island. Right. This is definitely time to get out of here now. Let's go find an anchorage on the other side. But to give you some clue, if you're looking for a reef, a good reef, healthy reef, look at the shore. The shore tells you that there is a good healthy reef in here. That's the one we explored this morning. But this is all the dead coral from that. So this coral reef here has been alive for a very long time. And that is evidence. Bloody amazing, mate. Look at that. It's a rock. No, it used to be a bit of coral. Now it looks like a bowling ball. I knew something was telling me not to beach the boat. Plus a 3 meter tide tonight, the boat would have been finished. All right, let's get back in. It's going to be a little bit difficult against this wind here, but just going to have to do it. It's the only way back on the boat. That was tough, guys. All right, we have to get out here before this weather gets too wild. It's already looking like it's probably 12, 15 knots. Yeah, can't camp on this side. No way. All right, let's go. Woo! So glad to be out of there. Oh. Took a bit of driving, but I found a nice secluded bay here and it is no wind whatsoever. Sleep here tonight and then tomorrow morning go and do some trolling around the corner and hopefully get some mackerel. Yeah, but tonight, look at this. This is a good spot. So peaceful. Oh, I feel so lucky. But I don't think I'm gonna eat dinner tonight. I had a big lunch or brunch that was massive and so delicious. And I think I'll just get an early night and then hit it again tomorrow morning. Get up early, get the fish. I never thought I'd be so happy to actually see the sunrise, because last night, oh, it's so bad. Thought I found a safe anchorage last night in a secluded bay, but the wind changed at 3 o'clock this morning and it was so bad. I had to pull anchor and find another safe anchorage. And I tell you what, it was driving in the dark, just using your chart plotter. Not fun, I tell you. That's life in adventure in the wild. They're the things we've got to deal with. Mother Nature just throws things at you left, right and centre. All right, this morning I think I'm going to stay in this bay until the sun comes right up. It looks like there's a really good reef here, so I'm going to jump in and try and spear a fish. Hopefully I do a lot better here than I have the last couple of days. And then we'll do some more exploring around these islands, and then go further south to one of the other islands as well. That, guys, is my first footballer trout, or you want to call a juvenile blue spot. I did see him first, but then as I was going to go diving, I saw another big blue spot, and so I went for that shot, completely missed it, and so I reloaded and come back for this guy. But that is a beautiful footballer trout or a blue spot trout, my first one ever. But yeah, that is a beautiful fish, guys. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Wow. All right, I'm going to put him on ice and then jump back in and see if I can get the other blue spot, because that was a much bigger fish. But yeah, these things are beautiful. Wow. Have a look at that, guys. That is 2 beautiful coral trout. This is a footballer or a blue spot trout, and this is a common trout. You can tell that by the blue around the eyes. But yeah, 2 beautiful fish, which are gonna go great for lunch or dinner later on. Oh, I don't know what to make. So I make ceviche, sashimi, or some coral trout curry. Oh, the options are endless. But yeah, what a great haul. Look at that. Awesome, awesome fish. The wind keeps shifting, so I have to keep moving the boat. And this is the southernmost island of the group of islands that I'm in. I'm gonna stay here for at least 1 day, maybe 2, depending on the wind. Hopefully the wind drops off and we can get out to the reef. But if not, this will be the final island. I'm in a place where you get very big tides, and there's gonna be a big tide tonight at 3 meters. Currently the boat is in about 700 millimeters, which is about 70 centimeters. So the water is going to come up all the way to the top of the bank at 3 a.m. And so I'm going to be sleeping on the boat tonight. So I have to make sure that the boat is not going to drift anywhere. So I've used front and back anchors to make sure that the boat doesn't end up on the beach here. Hopefully the wind doesn't go up too high. Otherwise I'm going to have waves all the way breaking over this bank here. If all my calculations are correct, then the boat is going to be safe where it is, and I won't have to worry about anything. All right, let's go and explore this place because it seems really interesting here. Looks like there's a land bridge that goes all the way across over there, and you can actually walk to the other island on low tide. I won't be doing that. I'm going to explore what looks like to be a shed here. Then after I explore that, I'm going to go and prepare that coral trout and make a few dishes because I'm really hungry and you guys deserve a treat. I love looking for shells, and I've just found this one. Have a look at this, guys. Look at that shell. All right. Not perfect, but wow, a creature used to live in that. It looks like there's a shed here of some sort. Oh, what is this? Huh. Couple of chairs. Chair. Hand line. A hook. Imagine if I did a survival challenge here. I've got a lot of the stuff I need already. Look at that. I don't know what that is. Oh, sharps container. Got some rope. Got another chair. Got some rope over here. Look at that. Huh? There's a tarp here. What's under the tarp? Some steel stuff. There's a plank. I don't know what that is. Some steel posts for something. Some roofing. A ladder. Some shade cloth. You could actually live here quite comfortably. I wonder if there's any fresh water. Unlikely any fresh water unless it rains here. But you could always look for some bottles of water. I wonder if we'll find one that has some water in there. Let's have a quick look. I did see a bottle over here. Here we go, there's a bottle here, but nothing in that one. And nothing. Oh, there's a little bit of water there, look. Look, guys. That has water in it. That's fresh water. That is fresh water right there. See? You can survive off that little capful. You might be able to survive for about a day, I reckon. All right, let's get back to the boat. Oh, look at this. Plastic spatula. I don't use plastic, but that could come in handy somewhere. All right, let's get back to the boat and make some food because I'm pretty hungry. Oh, and I can't wait to eat that coral trout. One of them anyway. There's another one of those shells right there. Look at that. Awesome. Oh, there's one in the water as well. Look at that. Look at the colors on that. Wow, the whole shell would have been all these colors, but being in the sun, some of it's peeled off. All right, I'm going to cut up this football coral trout and then make a ceviche. I won't bore you with the details, you know how that's done. Let's get straight to it. All right, both sides are off. You can see it's a pretty good job when you can see through it like this. You've done a pretty good job and you've got all the meat off it. Awesome. All right, 2 beautiful slabs of coral trout there, nicely filleted. I'm just going to cut these up in strips so I can prepare it for ceviche. And I might do a little bit sashimi as well. That one. And that one can be sashimi. These guys can be ceviche. One more cut here. And then cut them across into small chunks. That's ceviche. And these guys here into sashimi. Cut it as finely as you can. Get the lemons in for the ceviche. Just squeeze it all over. 1.5 lemons. Pat it all down in the juice. We want all the fish to be soaking in all that lemon juice. I like to season on the way, so bit of salt on the fish, some Spanish onion, some diced tomato, some more salt, some avocado, and then final drizzle of lemon juice. And for the sashimi, let's turn it around. Sashimi gets a little bit of drizzle of soy sauce. Maybe a bit more. Love my soy sauce. And then some wasabi on top. I think I'll just leave it on the side because I can choose how much I want then. That will do. That is dinner. Coral trout ceviche and coral trout sashimi. Absolutely beautiful. I'm so hungry, I reckon I'll eat all this, no problem. That is dinner served. I'm gonna dig in. It's been a big day. I well deserve it. Let's have a taste of the sashimi. Oh, beautiful coral trout. So good. Ceviche should be done now. Guys, you cannot believe how good this is. This is why I come out and do these adventures, because this is the best food, I reckon, by far. Alright, check you guys a little bit later on. I'm going to finish this with the sunset. Oh. I went straight to bed after that meal last night. I absolutely crashed it. And I've just woken up. It's about 11 p.m. And as you can see, the moon is behind me. I hope you guys can see that. But there's also zero wind and it is really serene right now. These conditions are very rare and have to be appreciated. Absolutely awesome, guys. Just been out of this morning collecting shells for one of my best mate's daughters. Her name is Isla. I'll be sending you those shells shortly. I think I have a really serious addiction and I don't know when to get out of the water. And I've explored every inch of this reef and I'm just not seeing the good eating fish in any big numbers. There's the odd one here and there, and I think I'm really lucky to have gotten the fish that I have. Yeah, while the coral here is really nice, those fish, those target fish, are not here. And I think it's a result of overfishing. This place is close to the mainland and this island is inhabited on the other side. Plus also all the commercial fishermen. They just wipe these areas of all the good fish which end up in the market and they go overseas, which is, I find, really crazy because I think the fish in Australia should be left for Australians and not sent overseas because we're running out of fish in the oceans here. At the end of the day, there's going to be less fish for us, which is not good, and it's going to deplete our oceans of a vital resource. I saw lots of little crays everywhere, which is a really good sign that this reef is really healthy. Not one single large cray, which I found astonishing because tens of baby crays, but not a single large one. I'm happy to have explored this reef. I did probably about 10 or 15 cave dives, and I love doing cave dives because you never really know what's on the other side, and you could be going through there and it's just a labyrinth of holes everywhere. And sometimes I think to myself, oh Billy, is this going to be the last time that anyone sees you because you got stuck in a cave? No, don't worry guys. I check all the caves to make sure there's an exit way before I dive it. And then yeah, it is a challenge to dive the whole cave, but you've got to relax. If you don't relax, you will not make it through the cave because your heart rate will be up and you'll run out of air. But yeah, for me, it's a discipline. Getting into the cave and going through there and just taking your time and enjoying it. I really love cave diving. Saw a couple of other little trout, and while I pointed the gun at them, I decided not to pull the trigger because they're too small. Yeah, but you want those baby coral trout to grow up and be bigger coral trout. They have a lot more meat on them and yeah, much more enjoyable to eat. Yeah, I really think I have an addiction to diving. I just love being in the water and just exploring all the different things that are in there, all the creatures going about their business. It's a completely, entirely different world than what we know living on land. And yeah, I find peace there, because when I'm diving, I'm completely present in the moment, and I'm not worrying about anything on land, on the boat, friends, family, none of that. I'm just concentrating on the fish, and that's a really good exercise for remaining present and being in the moment. All right, I think this is the end of the video, guys. So yeah, thank you for coming on board. I've really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. And if you have, leave me a comment, leave me a like. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because you see my daily stories and daily reels, and that gives you a whole bigger picture of what I'm doing. Yeah, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, here's the link right there. That's the link, well, that's the tag. All right, guys, be safe, take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.